eyes on our stats, and we noticed that quite a lot of you didn't use shields all that much. So we changed the way they work. Instead of needing stamina, shields are now based around poise and stagger, and we try to ensure that each shield archetype feels unique. So we can't wait to see all your new sword and board builds.
The thing is, though, he's taking damage. That's the problem. So we have to get a 100% block.
If you become a master playing No Rest for the Wicked, you should try our new hardcore characters.
Uh-oh.
Permadeath is enabled for these, so once these characters die, they get downgraded to non-hardcore characters that can only be played on regular realms.
Damn.
I wonder who will be the first player to slay the Econite with a hardcore character.
Yeah, that's like the last boss apparently in like the current game, I'm pretty sure.
Naturally, we
It'll
also
be
spent
Elon?
quite some
Yeah,
time
true.
introducing a wide range of quality of life features and polished up what we've played so far from West for the Wicked. For example, we've noticed that a lot of your houses looked similar to this one.
Yeah,
Storage has always been incredibly important in any ARPG. On our current live builds, players can stack all that many items, and sorting hasn't been ideal to them.
Yeah, this is a big issue that a lot of games have. I think that every single game, like, you should just have one storage chest that has pseudo unlimited, like, space. Having different things in different chests and then having to, like, min-max, or not min-max, micromanage between the different chests is just not fun gameplay, in my opinion. Like, it's not fun in Valheim. It's not fun in, like, Rust. In Rust, it makes more sense to say the game's different, but, like, I just don't like it.
Get up there!
How's this work? Yeah, that's way better.
While we are at home, we can show off wonderful features. We've put the Whisper Stone, which enables fast travel to from your house. So if you just want to quickly drop off items in the area while you're out and about, instead of having to first walk to something, you can now save that place.
Yeah, again, this is just like super good quality of life.
Remember that you can place one Whisper Stone per house. If you own multiple ones, you can even fast travel between them.
Our next change regards free cooldowns. We removed the classic cooldowns entirely. Now you can consume meals instantly.
Jesus, I got it.
The water body is pitched.
Let me explain how many times you can heal or buff yourself.
Okay.
This'll freshen you up
This new
quick!
approach aims to become more engaging.
Hey, get out of here!
There we go!
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense, right? Flasks, yeah. Yeah, people complain about this a lot when the game first came out.
Speeding up. You're always listening to the feedback. If you have thoughts, please share them.
Of course, you can always quickest and optimal. Performance of the machine forward, the reach of the rapid experience. The upgrade to a newer version offers much crisper animation and better performance. And these are just a few highlights.
What game is this? It's No Rest for the Wicked.
11,000 changes since we shipped the Crucible update.
More supplies have been added.
Before we dive deeper, we'd like to clarify how you'll access the breach. You will need to replay No Rest for the Wicked to fully experience this update. Old saves remain.
Yeah, so they're
related to
resetting the game.
But this approach ensures the breach is integrated as seamlessly as possible into the game. We realize this might be a surprise for some. Ultimately, the scope of the breach and the underlying changes led us here. But don't worry, you'll discover plenty of fresh content, quests, and loot to make restarting your journey worthwhile.
Let's discuss our roadmap next. It goes without saying that we will heavily support the breach for the upcoming weeks after launch. You will once again see us react incredibly quickly to all of the feedback that
But we also make hard at work on the drop. Hundreds of studies. And we need to know our breach.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people want. Just to be able to play with other people. Something in a game like this. Yeah. Damn. Damn.
Another monster's left!
switch these up because we want people to have more time to play once for with the breach update, there will be now a lot more content to explore and try.
I'll save this for later then! Moving to a new area!
That we've laid so far. And we're excited to discuss all the new releases and changes with you as we go along.
Also, today marks the 10th anniversary of Warrior.
Yo, this is the other game they made before.
It's been a wild ride for all of us. So today, we'd like to use
Thank you to all of our fans who have
Heels
supported us
inbound.
all the way through. We would not be where we are today without them. We're now marching to the final part of the all update with the massive update. Just right. Before we wrap up, there is one more thing, and this one is near and dear to our hearts.
All right, let's see it.
I'm Gary. My story with these videos began more than 15 years ago when I was listening to the internet phone asking me if I could use some closing music for a scene.
So did you produce this guy? Nice.
That's my favorite voice. Now, we were all very young and just started, so
Don't get
our
shaken
second
off!
release, Story and Nvidia, we set out to cover everything about the album. I was producing more fast than we told us to do together. How do you use it?
Yeah, I never played either of these games.
I'm happy to provide you the hardware across the Nvidia store for the story, the characters, the locations, and the boss fights in order to the one game. Video and the music that I'll explore too. Can't wait to see what leads us once again. It leads us to experience the all-new Wicked with the Breach on April the 30th.
April 30th.
Well worth the wait.
So what's happening now? Yeah, I'll probably play this when I first found out. I'm just trying to decide like how to play like caster or like big sword.
Target!
You know, I could also try and play a wall build. I'm not sure. Yeah, big sword. Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just depend on what weapons I get too. Double. I don't know. You could do the wall. Yeah. I was gonna watch this. I just haven't really had time to. It's on drive. I finally did. It don't look good. I'll link y'all the video. This looks really good. And looks good. Actually bought it. Yeah. No, it is. It's fun, man. And let's see. Money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, I guess so, right? And but yeah, no, the game. I think it's $20 or something like that on Steam. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I will probably I'll probably play this whenever it comes out, or at least like within a couple of days of it coming out for sure. 15 years. I don't know what to expect out of this at all.
You know, maybe it's because played Dragon Age but perhaps because while on this video, the creator of Fallout 1 discussing the way that games simplify the experience in their games, whether that be having difficulty options, whether having any specific controller, all sorts of features that developers can choose to add to their games in order to enhance that experience for the player. This inspired me to be a discussion for this video that goes beyond what was said in the Timothy's video and goes a little bit more into what I'm seeing as a trend in a bunch of our games we get today. Now, bear in mind, not every single video game does this, but I've seen a few perpetrators that rely on this very heavily. So I kind of wanted to talk about the oversimplification of games. Now, before we get started, okay, I want to make one thing very clear. I am 1,000% in favor of accessibility options when it comes to allowing for players to literally be able to play the game.
Dragon Age is an example. Like, I knew this game was designed for retards because I figured out all the puzzles. Like, I knew, like, if I can figure out your game's made for idiots. And, like, I don't think I'm an idiot. I just think I'm not good at following directions. Like, some people tell me something, bravo.
Power up, activated.
I'm not listening to you. Yeah, I figured it out myself.
But for example, colorblind. Your colorblind, that is very, very helpful. Having subtitles.
That's woke.
You're hard of hearing. That is also helpful. Having things like a screen reader. You are blind. Obviously, very helpful. Even things like allowing for different controllers to change is very good in case you may have some motor skills that have some difficulty, or maybe you only have one leg to work with. I am 1,000% in favor of those things being available for the game so that everybody can have an even playing field when accessing the game and being able to have fun.
I think that's what they should do more. Like, I feel like so much of like, oh yeah, we're making our game really accessible. Well, how are you doing that? Oh, we're making it easy. Oh, right, because disabled people are retarded and they can't beat bosses. Of course. How could I? Because if they're in a wheelchair or, oh, they can't use his arm? Yeah, he's so stupid. He doesn't know how to beat a boss. That's it, I'm sure, right? And so that's the thing. Every type of fucking, if I ever see difficulty as an accessibility feature, I think to myself, wow, what a shitty designer. Wow, what an idiot.
Not necessarily against difficulty sliders so long as the intended vision or the developer is still left intact as one of those options. And you're able to play in the intended difficulty or even higher if you choose to challenge yourself. I'm not against that if you want to have lower difficulty options. I'm not against having higher difficulty options as well, so long as they are tailored in a way that is actually meaningful. A lot of times when you pick a higher difficulty in a game, all it means is that they're increasing the HP or defense of the enemy.
This is true. And by the way, you want to know what one of the very big perpetrators of that is? It's Dragon Age. Dragon Age, you want to know what hard mode is? More health. More health and more damage. It does more damage. It has more health. Same fucking mechanics, it just takes longer. It's boring, it is.
And they're basically doubling the damage.
Yeah.
And there's very little change done in terms of the nuance of the AI, or how they behave, what tactics they utilize, and so
that's one thing Space Marine 2 did pretty well, is they changed the AI for the characters. Even Halo had that. Like on Legendary, bro, those elites were not stupid. They're smarter than I was.
A little bit of a danger of itself,
like those gold
that you
elites
fall into.
Damn.
And so I don't want the kind of difficulty that just
smarter
makes
than me.
everything into a sponge. I don't want that. But if we can hopefully make it an interesting and challenging approach while also having other options for people who want to take it easy, I'm not necessarily against that. What I am against, and even though I realize that there are cognitive challenges as well, not just motor skills, not just visual skills, not just auditive skills that can be impacted, I am very much against the dumbing down of the experience to the point where your hand is being held the entire way, and it almost feels patronizing in a way. Now there are
they have that. It's a huge problem with games is
can't allow
that they
the
don't
villain-
want people to like. For me, I'm gonna be real.
Everyone seems like they're in good
I'm not a like I
Let's
need
prepare for the next
handholding
hunt.
because when I play video games, I'm usually thinking about something else. I'm not even thinking about the game. I'm thinking about like if I want to get steak or the brisket from Chipotle today. That's it. Yeah, I'm not even putting any thought into this fucking game. And so if I played the game and I hit a wall, I'm like, where'd the wall come from? Even if the game spent the last 10 minutes telling me that there's gonna be a wall, I'm gonna say, where is it? Do you usually do the tutorial if it's available? Yeah, but I just don't pay attention. They can add a story mode or a normal mode or a hard mode. I think that'd be good. No, I hate difficulty modes. I hate them. Everybody should play the game the same way. If you want a difficulty mode, do what Final Fantasy 16 did. You want to know a real difficulty slider? Havel's armor. I don't want to see that shit. If you think the game's too easy or too hard, just go download a mod that makes it to where you one-shot everything.
Many examples for this, but Dragon Age the Veilguard is the most recent one that I have in my mind, so we're going to be discussing it through that lens.
Yeah.
That game makes sure that you're able
You can't
to
get
beat the
confused
game,
on this game.
no matter what. And I think this is where we land on a point where I'm not that big of a fan.
Check
You
back
see,
in
for example,
every
you
now
might get
and
a quest, and I'm making this as an example. This is not an actual quest in the game, but let's say it tells you, you must find the vendor that sells fish. And then you get a quest log that marks it in the top right-hand corner. Find the NPC that has the fish. And then you get a marker on your screen that follows you everywhere you go so that you don't
And
lose.
then the NPC is telling you, the fish vendor is up north from here. Keep going. Keep going. Here. Oh, wow. And then there's like a big, like, fucking neon sign, and it has a picture of a fish.
your way so that you
Yep.
know which way you're supposed to go in order to find that NPC.
Exactly.
And then the people, you might get even a cinematic for that quest where they discuss the importance of being able to find the fish vendor.
Yes.
And then on the way, even your companions might be like, hey, don't forget about the NPC that's to the left, the fish vendor. We must go to him.
Yep.
And then when you're up
That's
against
right.
him, you might have a giant sign saying fish vendor. And then on top of that,
Yep.
there's like all of these little cues with color showing you where the NPC is.
Pre-watch,
and
yeah.
then they say, here's the NPC.
It's not pre-watch. It's pre-played. I played the game. I know exactly how patronizing it is.
vendor.
Yeah.
Here's the fish guy. Like, they make it so obvious that even if, and pardon my words, even if you had temperature room IQ, you would be face palming at how easy
Yeah.
and how repetitive and how dumbed down the experience is. Let's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even talk about the puzzles, because the puzzles aren't even puzzles in
It's
them.
not a
the materials,
puzzle.
I guess.
It's like there's like a wall, and then there's a bomb, and you put the bomb on the wall, and then you blow up the wall, and then you can go through where the hole is. That's the puzzle. And you know that you can do that because the NPCs say, look at that wall. You can put a bomb on the wall. Rook, go put a bomb next to the wall.
Have another hut with no surprise.
You can break through it. Really? Yes.
A supply shipment's coming.
Cells,
Hope you
Press
find
you pick
something
up a
useful.
rock and you put it into the slot. They're basically right next to each other. There's no way that you can miss it.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that regard, it goes beyond accessibility and it goes into a territory which, for me, I would consider insulting. If I had a common good accessibility, I would find it very insulting that they've dumbed it down so much.
Well, the other part, they couldn't understand it was dumb.
Point where they're just pointing in the direction of where you have to go. Like the only thing that's missing is you had safety rails next to you on either side, and you can't go anywhere.
You do. If you jump, if you fall off the edge, you don't even do it. Even if it's in combat. Like if you fall off the edge, it's like bumper bowling. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's like bumper bowling, except for you can still get a gutter ball, but if you get a gutter ball, you just use the ball.
What's the place where the quest goes you prefer? That would be like the last method of the thing you have to have. And I see that over and over again. And it's insulting because I think what players really want is the opportunity to be able to play and be on playing field regardless of what disability they might have. And without it being insulting to the position that they have, without it being demeaning, be treated like an actual person.
Yeah, you're treated like a child. It's like, okay, you know you're in a wheelchair, so you have to make sure that the square block goes in the square area, okay? And so you're going to put an icon over there. Yeah, we understand that you can't use your hands. Okay, well, let me explain to you what the color green is. Okay, you can't understand. It's just so fucking patronizing. It's amazing. Green is not a creative color. Yes, why would they even do this? The reason why they do it, you have to, this is the reason why. It's because there is nothing more that people want now than to have performative virtue signaling. These people are not, they're not interested in looking for creative ways to solve problems for people that are disabled. They're looking for creative ways to get a pat on the back from other people in the industry for caring about people that are disabled. That's their goal. Their goal is not to improve the lives and experiences of these disabled people. It's to signal that they are trying to improve the lives and experiences of these disabled people. That's the care. Yes, exactly.
You may not know this because I'm just skeleton, but I have trouble hearing things. You know, I don't have any ear holes, right? And I have difficulty hearing, so things like subtitles are very important to me. And so I understand that, but see, having subtitles doesn't diminish from the experience that I'm having every game. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to get at. This video is having tools available so people can literally...
You know who really started this? Engineering. Little fairy Paimon. Oh, did you know? So, do you remember what we just told you? So, this castle, okay, this is a special castle. Do you remember that? Remember that? Okay, yeah, okay, good. Okay, hey, retard, did you? Oh, wait a minute, you didn't catch this. Yeah, you need to use, okay, so the fire here, you need to put water on it. So again, hey, stupid. The cutter, that's the blue one. Aqua. Yeah, don't forget about that. Start with the all paint, no, it's more.
Hey, play the game, play it in
correctly.
Going to the point where you're talking down to the player, where you're dumbing it down, where the experience is so watered down that everybody suffers because of it. I don't like that. And there are other examples. For example, Alan Wake 2. If you go to the accessibility options, beyond what I just mentioned, it will have things like infinite health, so you can't die. Infinite ammo, so you never run out of ammo. You can one-shot kill enemies. And all these things, I wouldn't consider accessibility. Those are cheats.
It's gonna sound so stupid because you can easily say just don't use them. But I hate these in video games. I do. I think it cheapens the experience. Maybe I'm being unreasonable, but I think that it's so weird. Their cheat codes, yeah. And it's like, I think having them in like the game system itself, it feels weird. I don't know. This is just like, maybe it's like a toxic gamer mentality, but I think this is so weird. I don't like it.
Those are just literal tweets. And I think, again, those options are important because they may have a difficulty because always, in my opinion, there's an option to play the game at the same level or close to the same level as somebody who may not have that.
Accessibility options should be designed in a way to raise players who have accessibility problems up to the level of players that do not have them around. They should not be designed around lowering the game quality and lowering the game challenges down to a point where they can achieve it. It's like a directional like philosophy. That's what I think.
And I think we're going so far above and beyond in this term where
casual gamers exist. Yeah, so like if you're a casual gamer, you can't figure out, you don't know, like, so if there's fire there, like if you're a casual gamer, like you're just so stupid that you don't know anything. You know, so how do you put out the fire?
Almost there.
What is that? Do you think casual, you want to know the reason why that's important? It's because they have a demanding career that makes them spend less time. Usually, that's because they're smart, but they just don't have a lot of time to play the video.
That's my partner.
end up watering down the quality of our product so that everybody can quote unquote access it.
Yeah.
And we go into the realm of changing things that don't actually need changing or that don't need taking a look into. And it even impacts the dialogue, it impacts the quality of the writing, it impacts the story. And so that's where it becomes a problem and why I think it's something that we should discuss more and more. To wrap up this video though, I want to let you know a little bit about what you can expect for this channel. I want to start off by saying thank you so much to everybody that supported this.
All 15 people.
In 2 videos, we actually went from 22 subscribers to 154.
That's pretty good.
The recording of this video. I couldn't be happier. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. I was away on a very important trip. I took everything with me. I took the microphone, my suits, everything. Unfortunately, the laptop that I had available was not able to record properly, let alone edit. And so I was forced to wait until my return to basically do every idea, including this video.
Can we get one like
for you guys
for the next
in rapid
video?
succession. I am going to be releasing them in cadence. Regardless, but I'm basically recording everything.
Playing Baldur's Gate 3 in a suit with a red skull. That's actually that. I'm gonna be honest. This actually does look pretty hard.
Anything catch your eye?
Go. And so you'll forgive me for that, for having to wait, but welcome everybody. I would like to remind you, we do also have a community tab on our YouTube channel. I welcome you to check that out every now and then, because when there's an important announcement or a delay or anything of that nature, I will make sure to let you guys know through the community tab rather than do a full video, because usually the algorithm will suppress it and you won't get to see it. On top of that, and I wanted to let you know what you can expect from this channel. I will be making videos mostly about gaming. Sometimes there'll be discussions, sometimes there'll be a video essay, sometimes we'll be reviewing a game, sometimes I'll be giving you my early first impressions, like with Dragon Age the Veilguard. Sometimes we'll be tackling, discussions of accessibility, like this video. Sometimes we'll be having a little bit of fun. Every now and then, I might do something that kind of goes off the rails a little bit. So, for example, I might be working on a parody song that I will let you know about in the future, or I might talk about a movie that really impacted me, and those videos will deviate a little bit, but rest assured that
I feel like my advice on this, right, is that, like, he's going to talk about the channel probably a lot more, right? Yeah, he is. I pretty much just stop it here, but I actually think this video was really good. There's like 2 main types of criticism that I would have for this. Number one, I think that the music was really repetitive, and I think people would kind of get tired of it. And number two, I think that it basically was like a 10-minute video that could have been 8 minutes. And it's actually one of the things that I struggle with the most is how to explain. It's actually one of the things that I respect like Moist Critical, like Charlie, for the most, is that Charlie is really good at distilling down a topic to like 10 minutes. And it's something that I've always been very bad at. And so when I see somebody else that can do that, I'm like, oh wow, that's really impressive, because I'm always you know, I always, oh well, that reminds me of this other thing that's not related that I'm going to talk about. You know, he repeats himself too. Yeah, script too. And so brevity is a key online. It is, and I've tried to do my best on that myself. But I actually think that for like a small content creator like this guy did a really good job. This is impressive. I'm going to link you guys the video. I gave him a sub. And so, yeah, good feedback. No, I mean, that's really the way I see it. I also make an hour-long video reacting to 10-minute videos. I do. I do that a lot. But I would say branching out too much in future updates. Oh, yeah, that's also another really good point, is that if you want to make a YouTube channel, I think that you should try to, like my YouTube channel, if I pull up my YouTube channel, and this is going to be a bit of an ego, Andy, for the amount of views that I get on my videos, I probably should have 3 to 5 times the amount of subscribers that I do have. I have a very low amount of subscribers on my YouTube channel, and the reason why I have a low amount of subscribers is because I cover so many different topics. Like, okay, this is me playing Stalker. This is me talking about DEI in video games. This is me talking about Joe Rogan and Donald Trump. This is about Donald Trump. This is about social politics. This is about, you know, why people live in their houses. This is about the Game Awards. So I have so many different topics that it's hard to build, like, and I've done this just by sheer force of will, is I've built like my own audience, but that's because I just spam videos non-stop. Like, we're releasing like 5 videos a day. I like all the topics you cover. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that a lot of the topics that we cover are not like everybody. Very rarely do people watch all of my videos, but very rarely have people not watched any of my videos. And so it's good to have it's good to have a focus on like your channel, especially when you're small, so you can build up an audience of people that will continuously watch you for that content. So they will subscribe and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm here for, right? This is what I'm here for. And it's better to like branch out once you're a larger creator. I'll link you guys the video again. Low-key, like Blizzard now releasing all versions of WoW to make sure people sub. I do feel like there are so many topics that I cover now, I can never run out of content.
Back to the 90s and the original PlayStation.
Well,
So in
what can I do
theory,
for
this
you?
could be a good matchup. However, my only concern with this is that the Japan studio at Sony was gutted recently. Okay, yeah, hold up. Let's talk about that really quick. So,
Yes.
back in 2021, yeah, Sony essentially shut down Japan studio. Now, people often meme around with varying levels of seriousness that Sony isn't even a Japanese company any longer. And Sony gutting or shutting down Japan studio, however you want to phrase it, certainly does seem like a symbolic representation of that being the case. They attempted to justify this action by essentially saying that the studio just wasn't profitable enough anymore. And then what
Probably
did they do
true.
a few years later? Get involved with Concord, losing about $400 million.
I'm happy to help anytime.
Now,
Well, that's not fair. To be fair, they thought Concord was going to be their Guardians of the Galaxy. They thought, oh man, we're
Hey.
going to do Concord and we're going to make like a TV show out of it, and it's going to
What
be
are we
like the
making
next
today?
cinematic Sony universe. Like, this is going to be like our Overwatch and we're going to do it right. Like, yeah, it was just they just wasted $400 million. And the holding company that owned the studio that basically owned Concord, I think it was like Firewalk, or, you know, basically, you know, down in a Blaze of Fire Studios, whatever the fuck it is, was actually valued at $1 billion at one point. That's crazy, huh? Wow.
Subar.
course, a
It's a
lot
lot
of
of
stuff
money.
has occurred throughout all of this. This is just like a few
Is it
brief
800?
points, but oh my
I
gosh.
think they received investment
So we
at,
left
at,
off
at
here.
that valuation.
However, my only concern with this is that Japan's studio at Sony was gutted recently, and the same thing could happen under Sony to FromSoft. That would obviously be awful. The other side of this is Kadokawa's anime and manga output.
Yeah.
Sony already has Crunchyroll and Aniplex, so buying
Sony
Kadokawa
owns
would bring a
Crunchyroll?
huge amount of IP across anime and manga
What?
under Sony's roof. Kadokawa also has a sizable chunk of the Western anime press,
I didn't even know that.
having bought Anime News Network and owning Bookwalker to run GX Plus.
I feel like we're getting close to a, you know,
Yeah,
like
well,
a-
Anime News Network and Sony, they
What's
would
it
go
called?
perfect together, hand in hand.
Yeah.
You get that joke. The joke
Monopoly.
being Anime News Network's terrible reputation. It's a lot of stuff we could talk about regarding that, but I'm not going to bury the lead at the end. The
Uh-huh.
article would conclude saying, in short, this is a lot to take in and would have a dramatic impact across games and anime, not only in Japan, but also globally. Yeah, so I do think this would be pretty terrible stuff. Sony.
I think a lot of people are worried that anime is going to follow the same trend, and like a lot of these larger corporate Japanese studios are going to follow the same trends that American studios are by trying to censor and appeal to people that aren't really their audience in order to reach a larger market. That's what I think a lot of people are worried about. Like, am I crazy on this? Yeah, they already are. Exactly. It's definitely worrying. I think a lot of people feel that way.
have an increasing grip, infesting their hands onto FromSoft even more, and clearly also not a good thing for the anime industry, in my opinion. We'll see how things continue to develop, but let me know what you think about all of this news, the Unknown 9 Awakening stuff, and this Sony stuff at the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.
That is insane. I had no fucking idea this game even came out. I remember hearing that it was coming out, and I was like, oh, this is just probably
about a
something that's stupid. And they had an entire cinematic... Let me link you guys the video. This is... I don't know what I would do without these. Like, so many of these happen that I can't even keep up with them all now. This is insane. I got 2 free games with my GPU, Unknown and Space Marine 2. Oh, so you got 1 free game then. Yeah, that's crazy. Unknown 9 Awakening. With a 200 player peak. Again, guys, to keep this into context, that's worse than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's worse than Immortals of Avenum. And it's even worse than Concord. Literally unknown. Worse than Concord? Yes. How many millions did it cost? Definitely, I think that we can rest assured that it probably cost more money to make than it made. I think you can pretty much guarantee that. How the fuck?